The third week of Donald Trump's criminal trial ending with a dramatic confrontation as his defense team wrapped up a combative two-day cross-examination of Stormy Daniels over a decades-old story of an alleged sexual encounter between the adult film star and the then reality TV star Trump, who says it never happened. Prosecutors have accused the former president of buying her silence to deceive voters in 2016 and then doctoring his internal business records to cover it all up once in the White House.
What do you think of the Stormy Daniels testimony?
Defense attorney Susan Necheles attempting to put Daniels on trial, highlighting her shifting accounts of certain details from that night in 2006 to insinuate she's a liar, while highlighting Daniels' time in the porn industry, saying it, quote, gave her a lot of experience in making phony stories about sex appeared to be real. Daniels, defiant on the stand, responding, wow, that's not how I would put it. The sex in the films, it's very much real, just like what happened to me in that room. The questioning and testimony this week only briefly delving into the actual $130,000 payment Mr. Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, made to Daniels just days before the election, the linchpin of the state's case. Instead, the defense trying to cast Daniels as simply hungry for money and fame and determined to help put Mr. Trump behind bars because it would help her bottom line, pointing to past tweets mocking his legal woes and her current catalog of merch, including a $40 candle depicting her as Stormy Saint of Indictment. Necheles asking, you're celebrating the indictment by selling things from your store, right? Daniels shooting back, not unlike Mr. Trump.
So what did you think of this testimony?
I think it's really hard to know what the jury's getting out of this because she was so desperate to try to fight the defense attorney on every last little point. And the defense attorney was so determined to try to show where she could trip her up and where she was being inconsistent. The jury might just say a pox on both of their houses in a case where her actual testimony is not the crux of the actual charges. As you and I have discussed so many times, it's about falsification of business records. And only at the very end of the cross did we even come anywhere close to that. I mean, you've covered so many trials. You sat in the courtroom. Did you have the same impression?
Yeah, I mean, being there, I was really struck by it. It was a very tough cross-examination, no question about it. They attacked Stormy Daniels' credibility, scored some major points. There's no question about this. And if this had been a case about whether sexual interaction took place or a sex assault took place, that cross-examination would make sense. But it's not. Right. It's a case about business records about which Stormy Daniels has essentially no knowledge
at all.
And so the final two questions from the defense attorney seemed the most relevant. And I wondered why the prosecutor put her on, why the defense made a meal out of all of the allegations and the going back and forth about this alleged sex.
Yeah.
When that's not what the case is about whatsoever. So it was just interesting to be there. And then I kept trying to think about what are the charges here in this case, and how is this testimony relevant to making the decision for the jury?
And whether they've done enough to prove up their case, because now as it's winding down, we know they have to hear from Michael Cohen, right? He's sort of essential to their case, but they might not want to end on Michael Cohen if they're a little bit afraid of where exactly he'll go on the witness stand. We already heard from this former aide, Madeleine Westerhout, setting up this infamous meeting at the White House where the former president, talked to Cohen about how they were going to arrange the payments. But now we have to hear from Cohen, and we have to see how he does on cross.
It will be very interesting to see how both sides wrap up the case and the arguments they make on the law and the facts as well. Laura, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.